Hello. Thank you, Devashish. Thank you, Captain Das, for inviting us for this presentation, organizing this every year, and like at least very often. I mean, this is well needed, the Architects and Engineers Guild. But you didn't mention when the lunch is.
Whenever you end, that is when the lunch starts. So that's a lot of pressure.
That puts a lot of pressure on me. So I'll try really fast to complete it. Okay, guys, promise. And
take your time. We have a time.
so I was just wondering, like, I was told to give a presentation on sustainability. And of course, sustainability was something that we talked about. It was very in thing when we were in college. And it was like we have all our designs has to be sustainable. But the goddamn question is, what is sustainability? I'm still trying to figure out. And believe me, while working practically on the projects, there are so many other pressures are there. I barely get time to really think about sustainability. So I was wondering, like making this presentation, like who judges, like what is sustainability and what is sustainable and what is not sustainable, and who and how we judge that. We do have a green certification nowadays with LEED, IGBC, GRIHA and others. We have ECSBC that is coming in. Now the question is, are they the right judge, a right way to judge a building if it is sustainable? Is it possible that we design a building and it does not get a green certification, but yes, it's sustainable? Is it possible? Anyone? Like suppose I build a building out of literally bamboo, thatch and mud. It will not have green certification for the products. So I'll not get that green point. If I perfectly use Venturi effect and everything and keep and proper insulation and the room inside cooler and comfortable to stay, it will not get a green point for efficient HVAC. So there are many issues. There might be a possible position feasible that you design a building which is sustainable and you may not get a certification. And then what do? You have to go, but your developer wants the certification, he will get the extra fare. He doesn't care about sustainability, he needs that. So you will have to approach someone. So who is the ultimate judge in our society? Anybody? For any issue, like not even sustainability, for anything. If we have to get whether you're right or wrong. Sorry? Oh, the judge. I mean, you go to the court, isn't it? You go to the court for your judgment, anything, and we trust, still we believe that if we go to the court, which is not the politicians, because the politicians are mostly, I'll say there are few of them are corrupt, not corrupt. You can't really judge the architects or developers or people, they are not always not knowledgeable. So, but the judicial system is still, we believe it's somewhat where we can get justice. And that's, still we believe is the fundamental of our society which is holding the entire country, isn't it? So far, we still believe. So, oh, sorry, what did I do? Okay. So, we'll go to a judge. And let's look at what a judge wears in our country. He will, if he's a male, possibly he will be wearing a sando genji, then he will put on a shirt, then he will put on a coat, then he will put on a necktie, and then he will have a black coat, and then he will have a robe. Bloody hell, he doesn't have the judgment what to wear in this country. Imagine in Bardhaman or Bihar or somewhere in a district court where it's as a non-air conditioned super hot. So you call this sustainability? They are whom we have entrusted to judge the entire, right or wrong of this entire society and the country, and they don't even know what to wear. They don't have the sense of judgment what to wear. And we believe we want to be sustainable in our buildings and our way of life. We must be kidding ourselves. I mean, he comes from a family who has a lot of...
This is why I'm being very careful. There's something called suo cognizance.
I used a actor. I could have put an actual judge picture. I didn't put that. Maybe I would have taken contempt of court or something. I don't even know. So I'm just putting a comic character from Bollywood. So, but that's true. That's how our society is. There's something fundamentally wrong in our way we judge ourselves or how we act, and something is wrong. So, while I was once again, I knew there will be more students and engineers and all. So I actually Googled, found out an old presentation we made when I was in college, not here, but I was doing my master's. So I want to see that how we judge how the entire society we live. And we have this, what we call artificial, and we have called natural. We want to be more natural, eco-friendly and all. Like, what is artificial? Like, has human being able to make even one molecule out of nothing? No. We only take something that is present in the nature and mess it up. That's all. So everything we do is kind of natural. Only we mess it up in a very bad way. So let's see, if we just go back a little bit and try to see what we actually do. So once upon a time, man and nature were one and same. Like, we used to stay in the nature. গাছের ডালে থাকতাম হয়তো, লাজডা সবে গেছিল. That's I'm talking about that stage. So one day man got up and he came out of nature. Okay, we somehow came out and we called ourselves man, and that's nature. We created this imaginary boundary somewhere. So we need to protect ourselves. Then we realized we need to protect ourselves from nature. Obviously we have to. There's rain. So we took some kind of shelter somewhere. So we need to protect ourselves from nature. There were animals. There were many natural forces that we need to really protect ourselves from. So what we started to do, we did everything that is required to protect, and then we realized we need food also. It's not only we need to protect, but we need to harvest. We need to harvest nature. We need food, we need water, we need everything from nature. So now we have, like, nature is here, we are here, and these are the things we need to do. So we need to harvest. An old presentation, so I don't even remember everything. While harvesting and living on nature, we try to we realize that we need to understand nature. Because if we do not really understand nature, we will not be able to get what we need or protect ourselves and all. So we got everything, like we understand what is temperature, we understand how to cool, what is heat, what is how to cool ourselves. We learned how to travel, how to fly. So it's all by understanding nature. So we started understanding nature. Then we realized it's not only understanding or harvesting, we need to tame nature. We need to control nature. Today we are planning to have artificial rain. So we are taming nature. We just make nature do what we want it to do. So I think it started with cutting those plants and trimming it and planning it accordingly. Now, these are trees and plants, which is nature, but this is not how nature used to be. We started taming it. We started modifying it in our fancy, our need to suit our everything. Then we started exploiting nature. That was like the final stage. Now we have to exploit. And that's where we ended up, by exploiting nature. That's the final stage. And then we realized we need more nature. After we screwed up enough, after we spoiled everything, that we realized we need nature. You know the story of Manhattan, this Central Park. It was not there when the architects and engineers planned the city. They had no green space. They had completely made it like housing and offices and everything. They sold it. People started building, and then they realized we need nature. And they actually bought back land and made that Central Park again. This huge thing was actually, the government made the plan, sold the lands to builders and everything, and then they bought back the land and they made this Central Park. So we always realize later. Then there has been the architecture students and others will also know that we came into all these the garden cities. There was the concepts that came in. Then there was the radiant city. There was very concepts like how nature and cities should be done together. The broadacre city. These are many concepts. I'm sure the students should know. I don't want to. Then we realized we need to stop polluting. This is how we really build. And then something happened. Sustainability was born. Okay, this is Birth of Venus, a famous painting by Botticello. So it was like, and apparently Venus was born full, like she was never a baby. So similarly, sustainability was born, and we are here discussing how to make the world sustainable. But in search of sustenance, like those who practice in this world and have to survive, we have our team to survive and all. So we are more in the search of sustenance than sustainability. And however, during the process, what I have realized, it's less about trying to be sustainable or trying to save the world. But if you can just be a little bit logical and reasonable in your approach, just be logical and reasonable. I mean, as I said, apparently the entire judicial system, they are not very logical and reasonable in the way they attire themselves. So instead, if you can just be a little bit logical and reasonable in our approach, we maybe end up getting sustain ourselves for a longer period, the human race. Let's put it that way. So I just wanted to share a few projects throughout my career where I just tried to be logical and reasonable. Okay, no, I never tried to be sustainable, just logical and reasonable. So 2004, exactly like 20 years back, our first project was inaugurated. So what was the project? It was an old heritage building. I'm sure Devashish is bored seeing this many times, but it is an old heritage building which was defunct and burned down, and the Kolkata Corporation wanted to rebuild it. There was a design competition, and they clearly mentioned the old building has to be demolished and a look-alike elevation has to be created. But that's not how you deal with life. That's very, unreasonable and illogical. If my grandmother's photograph, who's not there anymore, is, spoiled or semi-spoiled, I'll not get another model looking like her, take a photograph and put it in my house, will I? I won't. That's not logical. That's not reasonable. What we'll do, I'll try to restore that photograph as much as possible and keep it as a memory. So if this is a heritage building, something which has something culturally and socially related to us that we want to preserve, we should preserve this. So what we did preserve. Our design proposal was to preserve the old portion, build a new building. But in the same time, what we realized that we need not only an auditorium, but a place where people can come and sit, just relax. So the famous sit-outs and plazas and things like that. And there was no space in the site. So what we suggested, our design idea was to put it on the roof. And we won the competition. It was built accordingly. And it was created. The stair that leads directly to the roof. And when it inaugurated, people started coming and sitting there. Simple. And it became so popular, they started charging 10 rupees for going on and sit there. Because that is needed. There is no open space in that entire region. It's so densely populated. It's Shambazar, Hatibagan, if you guys know. There's very few open space there. Now, how many of you, if on a weekend, if you have to go out with your friend or on a date or something, even for the senior people, how many of you end up in a shopping mall? Can I see a raise of hand? How many of you end up in the shopping mall if you have to go out and spend an evening? I guess most of us, because we don't have any other space. So this was one space that we created. So now if I look back on the mandate, at that time I don't think even LEED was there, at least not in India. Now if I look back, I think it is one of the mandates that you feel there's an to reuse the old constructed building, isn't it? I mean, those who are more expert on LEED and IGBC, I think there is something that if you are reusing an old building, you are actually saving more materials, you are actually saving more energy. And obviously, one of my most hidden agenda is to bring people out in the open air. That is an agenda that started at that time and it is still there through all my life till the next 20 years. So in 2006, there came another project. It was a very beautiful beach with this lovely red, crabs all over. There was nothing on that beach. For 10 kilometers, there was not a pawn shop or bidi shop, not even a people. And my client wanted to build a resort there. So, and it was very difficult to take concrete. It was very difficult to carry cement there. It was very difficult to carry bricks there. And the client didn't have money. So I said, okay, fine. What we'll do, we'll just use the local materials. We'll use the local mistris, we'll local material, and we build this amazingly beautiful houses out of mud, bamboo, thatch, and all. And I used, at that time, I was fresh out of college, like I graduated in 2001 and this was in 2004. So I was still remembering all these Venturi effects and everything. So these cottages, I planned it in such a way that there will be like the amount of opening this side and there will be double opening on that side. There will be enough breeze. All the walls will be doubly insulated. The roof will be thatch and everything in such a way that it was really, really comfortable even in the summer without an AC inside. I stayed there. It was fantastic. It was inaugurated and within 6 months, the owner put AC in all the units. I said, hello, it was not needed. He said, yeah, it's not needed. I said, why did you put it? Well, see, when somebody calls up and books my hotel, he asks the rooms are AC or non-AC. Non-AC rooms are cheaper, AC rooms are expensive. I cannot, I mean, my competitor hotels, they are giving non-AC. I cannot charge the same rate if my rooms are not AC. So even if they are not using, we have to put the ACs. So the ACs were put all over. So once again, being reasonable is something is always difficult, I guess. Then come 2014, because in between I went to abroad to study and all. When I came back, it was a university in Amtola, that side, where the client wanted us to, I mean, they were expanding, modifying the old buildings. Once again, he wanted to break down this old building and make it into an administrative block. We said, let's not break it down. We just remodify it. And we made that. That was like the admin block. There was this blank wall, what I used, a little bit of Mondrian paintings and all. How many of you are aware of Mondrian? Well, that's not what I was expecting. Anyway, that's the whole idea. So then they wanted a gate. So this gate, what I designed was like we called it the golden gate. Now the question is, why is it a golden gate? I'm sorry, I think this is not visible, but everything is in exact golden mean ratio. Everything, the entire form is like this is a square and this is the second square. I mean, if you add this rectangle and this entire thing is a square and this is another golden mean. So if you elevation you take, it's exactly as per the golden mean and playing with it. And if you call it a golden gate, we wanted to call it the golden gate. Now that would make people curious, like, why is it a golden gate? Maybe, I mean, the architecture students still know about golden mean ratio, but not the, say, the electrical engineering student or the marine engineering student. Maybe they will come to learn about it. And then we made this beautiful building, which was the academic block, one of the academic block. So what was, when I was designing it, once again, my challenge was not to make a beautiful building, but the challenge was, how do I bring the students outside? I don't want them go inside and stay within a box. So the way the entire planning was done, that no matter where you are, you're moving from one classroom to the other, you have to come outside. And there was no barrier between inside and outside. That was what we tried to achieve. So let's see, I mean, the entire process was, here my target was not to make a sustainable building, but the students who will be studying there, if I can make the building in such a way that when they go out, they realize how they can live outside the box. Or if they ever make a building themselves, they would like to have it not like an enclosed box, but something which is more closer to nature. So first was the Golden Gate that we tried to, the things that we wanted them to learn about. This is creating the eco. Then we brought in a little bit of art and history there in the design. But the best part is a wonder about nature. Like we all study about solar energy, but how many times have you actually just stopped and enjoyed appreciated the sun? And how many students have just stopped and said, wow, সুন্দর দিনটা, রোদ্দুরটা কি সুন্দর আজকে, how the beautiful the shadows are. So this is what we wanted to create. We wanted to inspire every student going there about the sun. As I was talking, the design was made in such a way that it's going to break the box. It is like a Mobius strip. How many of you know about Mobius strip? So it does not have an inside outside. So if you start painting this side of, let's say that this is the inside, if you start painting, you will end up painting both the sides. It's in such a way there's no inside outside. So this building was designed like a Mobius strip. So if you enter from here, you are going inside. The moment you go up, again you are outside. From one classroom to another classroom, you are outside. Then there was a sundial. Like, okay, we have we have read about solar energy, sun and all. But how many times we have really experienced that with time the shadows change? We wanted to draw lines here so that with the dates, like every 12 p.m., like what date it is, maybe you can identify Valentine's Day or Independence Day or your birthday. And if you do it once, you get related to the sun. You related to, it's not only what solar energy you're reading in the book or you're putting a solar cell on the spec. It's something that you imbibe inside, in your soul. I love rain. I enjoy rain like anything. And the best part of rain is you want to see the rain. Bishti to dekhte bhalo lage, bhijle na bhijle. So I always provide terraces in our building, which is semi-covered, where you can sit inside and you can watch the rain. And next is you create rain chains and all, let the water fall. We talk about rainwater harvesting, but do we see it? And I mean, in buildings nowadays, rainwater harvesting has been mandated and it is done. But what difference does it make to any of the users? It doesn't. They don't even know. Most of the buildings, which is LEED Platinum, IGBC 5-star gold rated or whatever, has rainwater harvesting. How many of the users know that? None. So that's one thing we would like to do. We want to show it, especially to the students when I'm designing a college. So the entire water that falls here is collected here and it goes down and it's used. And you have to put a placket there and you explain it to the students. So even say a mechanical engineering student will learn that and it will imbibe that forever. Another thing that we are losing gradually is harmony with nature. Somehow we are always living in this closed box at 24 to 25 degrees centigrade. Baire gorom hok, sheet hok, grisho hok, borsha hok, we are always in the constant temperature block. Our rooms are air conditioned. Nowadays our schools are air conditioned, our offices are air conditioned, our cars are air conditioned, our buses are getting air conditioned. I don't have anything against air conditioned, comfort is good. But somehow don't we think we are completely losing touch with nature? আগে গরমকালে আমাদের ঘরটা একদিকে জানলা খোলা হতো, শীতকালে আমরা বাড়িতে খাটটা সরিয়ে নিয়ে আরেক দিকে রাখতো কারণ রোদ্দুরটা ওইদিকে আসে বলে. We are losing that connection with nature somewhere. So in all our projects we do that. So we have a summer terrace. So this terrace is beautiful, but this is not going to be suitable for sitting in the summer heat. Summer heat, it will be this terrace which is shaded. Winter you come out here and enjoy the sun. In the rain you go to somewhere else. So the entire building is made in such a way that you can enjoy different seasons. You can feel the different seasons. Sorry, what did I miss? I mean, I was talking about the daylight and auspice. So once again, if you see that side of the building, it had very few windows. Because that's the south and the west. If you see this side of the building, this has bigger rooms, the full glasses. Why? Because that's the north. North has the most beautiful light. Why is northeast the most auspicious in Vastu? Because you get the beautiful light there. Is the classrooms how the light come in. Another thing I always do from the very first day, like it's one of my hidden agenda in all my projects, to put steps. I want the people using my building to walk up the stair. I hate elevators. And people love stairs and they use it. If you remember that in Star Theatre that I showed there, it was in 5th floor and people walked up there. So everywhere I put grand stairs, grand inviting stairs. No, 19, 20-year kids, they should not be taking the elevators. They should run up the stair. We had to go 8 floors up because most of the times our elevator was not working in Jadavpur University. So everywhere I use a step in a grand way. Yes, there is a lift if somebody is physically needs an elevator, but for that you have to go in that corridor deep inside. There is a lift hidden there. You use that. But what is more inviting for you is this wonderful steps that you go up and down with, and it's there in all my projects. If you'll see. Let's come to 2015. Yeah, this is one IT building and don't want to go. Here also, if you see, I have created these small terraces. This is the north side, so we have glass. The south side we didn't. Now, this is another interesting project. Does our sustainability program, involves ships? I don't know. I just wanted to be logical. Once again, my client bought this junk and it was about to be scrapped. So instead of scrapping it, what we started do is, really think of something that can be fascinating. Let's say we had a fun designing it, doing the engineering and detailing. It started building. Yeah, and that was in that junk. Well, once again, we reuse that amount of 800 tons of steel. I don't know if it would get a LEED certification or a IGBC certification. I really doubt. I don't think it will. And then if I go to the court, to that judge, I have to go to that judge who doesn't even know like what sustainability. Let's come to 2017. I'll try to take, this is a little bit longer presentation, but I'll try to go fast. So this is another very interesting thing that has happened in our society. In a box, 4-inch by 2.5-inch was introduced in 2000. And that completely changed our life. Any guess what that box was? No. In 2000, mobile phone was there, but it was not to that extent. It was iPod. Okay. Now, I personally believe that revolutionized, that brought in the 21st century. So there was 19th century, 18th century, 19th, 19th, 20th, 21st. And if you want to see what the difference was, so that was 19th century. But there used to be one transistor radio. It was so damn big that you can't carry it even. The entire family used to gather around it to listen to the one music that was being played in the radio station somewhere. Okay. Then came 20th century. We had one two-in-one speaker, cassette player or something like that. When we were students, we used to have that. Sorry. When we were students, we used to have that. And when we were groups were working, we used to have that, and all of us used to gather. And we used to say, hey, ami ei gaan cassette tenne amar cassette ta ekটু chala. Acha thik ache eta torta chalachi porerta kintu amar. Now that is something very subtle. Was a difference. But you know what it meant? We tolerated each other. We had tolerance. আমার এই গানটা ভালো লাগছে না, কিন্তু আমার বন্ধুর ওই গানটা ভালো লাগছে বলে আমি শুনছি, এবং পরের গানটা আমার ভালো লাগে বলে ও শুনবে। Today, no. I am not going to tolerate your music or anything you have, and I'm not going to even disturb you with my music or anything I have, isn't it? We want to listen to our own songs, own playlists. I don't want to bother you. Please don't bother me either. Now that's our situation here. So we is gone. What we have is left with I. So everything is I now. We don't have we anymore. So I somehow live in one of those apartments just after we don't even want to stay with our parents. We want to, even in the city, I know people nowadays, they would just, the moment they get a job or financial thing, they would like to move into an I apartment where I would live. And here, which will be part of one of these apartments or maybe one of that. Okay. We are going pretty close to this. This is a photograph taken by Michael Wolf in Hong Kong. So we have an I world now, completely I world, which is maximum FAR, minimum common space, efficient, smart, non-intrusive, privacy. I can do anything there, nobody cares, till it starts smelling. I mean, when I was making this presentation, I just in 1 year, I saw so many things, like people just die there and people come in and break down the house, only they're smelling. It's from Calcutta only, these news are only from Calcutta. So, if you now look back, how did we used to live? We never had an apartment. We even didn't have a, room. The entire, we used to live together. We used to have rooms maybe, but this was we living. And these are clips from an old movie, Bengali movie. Maybe few of you have watched. If you haven't, you must. This is a lovely movie. So everybody used to work together, live together. Now, so when we are doing this old age home, we were asked to do a senior living and old age home. We wanted to make that we living come back. At least for the senior people, they would, I think, relate more to it. So what we did, we had a big courtyard and we put the rooms around it. Very simple. It's nothing skyrocket. But the challenge is this was not 1 story or 2 story. This was 10 story. So what we did, we kept on doing this and we ended up here. And it was designed in such a way that it was like 2-story bungalows, one above another. And there is a central courtyard in every floor and there is a green space every floor which can go up. Like if you are staying in the 9th floor, you can't really feel like coming down to the ground to go there. So you don't have to go. We brought the green up to you. So yeah, so this was the building that we designed. We won the competition and built it once again. So yeah, this is the section. This is how we, designed it. So once again, let's see what are the things that we did to bring in we living. So art. So it was, I always have this fun. We call this natural and this artificial. But for me, honestly, they're both same almost. There's not much difference. We are a little bit smarter than them, that's all. But if we do it reasonable and logical, problem is they are never illogical. Can anybody convince a monkey, the bador, tar hate jodi eta kola thake, can any of you convince to give that banana, he will get 100 more when he dies? Can you convince? You can convince a human being. Eta amar quote na Noel Harari. You can convince a human being that এখন তুমি এখানে দক্ষিণা দাও, এই মন্দিরে টাকা সব দিয়ে দাও, তুমি মরে গেলে অনেক পুণ্য পাবে। So anyway, so yes, we brought the art up as we are saying. So this is on the 9th floor. And once again, shaded, okay, I think that will be in the next slides. Water, which I love always, as I was saying, it's not only we are harvesting, we are using water in every way, the sun. This is something, once again, the sunlight I was talking about. Now, I could have made an atrium here. You know what would have been the problem if I had made an atrium, glass atrium? Anybody? Anyone? What would have been a problem if I had made a glass atrium here? Huh? Right? It's good in, northern Europe probably. Here you will be boiling. So what we did, we made tiny holes. We made a concrete slab and we made tiny holes. And the sun came in beautifully. See the sun drops. They keep moving all day. Remember the school. Once again, you enjoying sun for the first, how many times you have really appreciated sun? I don't care if this gets a certification or not. ওখানে দাঁড়িয়ে আমি সূর্যটা যখন মুভ করতে থাকবো, that's something, to something at the level of spirituality. And here, once again, it was, I don't want to go into more detail. Yes, this is the spaces inside. So yeah, so this was our We Leave Travel late. You missed the most exciting part. Shall I restart for Shoibalda? Yeah, so anyway, let's skip all these. These are more advertisements than anything. So this was another small parking lot we did, and Shoibalda was the green consultant and possibly the first parking lot in India to be green certified. And they did not have any category for it. Which category do you put up a parking lot? They said, yeah, we did everything. No, I mean, you have not put any ventilation system. It's open both ways. It's open all around. What ventilation system do you do? And Shoibalda had a really tough time to convince that it deserves a green certification. This is another one of our very favorite projects, but I already would like to cut it short. So this is in Roper, and this is an academic building with number of departments. Apart from anything, I mean, especially for the students, one thing that I really have a big complaint about our education system is that it's broken into silos. The architecture students never work together with the civil engineering students while they're in college, though they are in the same building. I don't know why. I mean, if they never work with the electrical engineering students, though they are in the same campus. I don't know why. Maybe our present professors can take an initiative and do a combined project. Because the day you graduate, you will have to work together and you will not understand each other and you will fight with each other. Simple. So my appeal to the present professors, whoever here, that if you can organize joint courses, joint classes together. So anyway, here the director was amazingly, he was a Jadavpur alumni only. He said that we'll put 6 departments together and there will be no, separate areas for them. It will be all mixed up. The students will be studying together. And so we started. Now the elevation is very interesting. He wanted something really, really unique. He said, okay, we can make something interesting, but what is unique? So I asked him, let's dedicate the building to someone. I said, Satyen Bose, Jagadish Chandra Bose, though he being a Bengali, he said, no, let's dedicate the building to Hargobind Khurana because he is from that land, from Punjab. So we dedicated the building to Dr. Hargobind Khurana. And then we studied a lot, like what Dr. Khurana has actually did to get the Nobel Prize. We found out that he decoded the RNA molecules in human body. And he made a code. It was a code with 4 basic things, that was UCAG. There's like 4 different parts which together are combined and forms all the RNA molecules in our body. And there is 64 ways they combine. So we said, okay, fine. So we'll have each block represent one of those molecules and we'll actually code the facade of the building with that code. So a bioengineering student can actually stand and decode that and read that code which is imbibed to that. So this building is dedicated to bioengineering and the great Dr. Hargobind Khurana. So we always try to, make it meaningful. But what is interesting is that how much glass can you see in the facade? There is no glass. This is Chandigarh, super hot. So we had double insulated walls along with these cladded blocks to the entire facade that works as the main insulation. Glass was there, but it was inside, which was shaded. We'll come to that. So what we did, once again, we created this amazing courtyard. And in the courtyard, we shaded it because you need shading in that heat. We really had to fight hard with the professors. They said, Bishtipur, it will still rain. It's here, it will rain. Then why do we cover it? I said, no, you need to cover it for the sun. I mean, how many of you have visited the India Habitat Center in Delhi? It's an amazing space. because of that shading. We just wanted to do it in a more advanced modern way because we have tensile fabric and smart things nowadays. We did that. We made a rainwater harvesting system where the water will fall, it will be purified once again by bios as a bioswale and all. And we played a little fun with it. We didn't tell the professor that it actually looked like an sperm cell fertilizing an ovum. We never told them. It was built and now they come realize that. Anyway, so apart from that, we did something more, like we did the first PDEC tower where the hot air would have been captured here. It's going to be sprinkled with jets of water. It will cool down and it will fall below and it will cool a cafeteria in a non-mechanical way using a modernized version of our old technology. We built that, we built the tower and everything. Then everybody was asking, like, will it really work? Like, we'd spend so much money to work. And then they went to some other university. We have tried also wind tunnel and something like that. Then they came back and said, no, it's not working there. We said, why is it not working? Because it was supposed to have fans and they never put the fans. And same here, this is supposed to have that misting system and the fans, and which has not been put yet. So it's not working again. But we spent a huge amount of taxpayers' money to build these huge towers and everything else. And once again, the sun, the shadow, the pattern playing. And note the steps. All the steps going, running up and down. Just imagine the place filled with students running up from one department to another, doing their study. They're sitting outside and working on a laptop. That's what we want. Look at the terraces, how the play of terraces and all. And we wanted plug points at the places. We wanted the green plants and sittings and all. I mean, they kept on saying, this is not an IT office. Why do you want to spend so much money? It's a college. I said, come on, what the hell does the IT office do? They're doing slavery for the Western people. And this is the future of our country. They're the most brilliant students. They are what our future is. This should be better than any IT office. Well, come to 2015 once again. This is not a building. I promise I'll end in another 10 minutes. So what we were trying to do was same. Give an second alternative to people from going to air-conditioned shopping malls during when they have to spend some time. So we could convince the government. We got the space freed. I don't want to go through all the design drawings and everything. That's fine. We started working. We broke down the street. People were abusing us. Rasta kharab kore dicche, gadi jabe ki kore, key problem. And we started constructing this. And there you go. You have a wonderful street plaza. Possibly one of the first in the country where a completely vehicular road has been converted into a pedestrian plaza. And people of all age group you'll find sitting there. And then light, beautiful light. You just, in the night, it's like fascinating. And then it started to be called, like, it became viral in the, it was called the Dubai of Kolkata or Times Square of Kolkata, things that we really didn't want it to, but who cares? As long as people are happy there. Coming to 2024, this project was just inaugurated. So it was a building for Baja Paints. It was a competition design once again. So idea came from my sister, who's also a Jadavpur alumni architect. She said, it's a paint company, just let's make it a simple can of paint with colors flowing down. This is the concept view that we showed. It's a paint can with colors flowing. Once again, where's the glass? We really need to have glass to make a modern building. So the way we did, we had a double layered membrane, solid membrane all around to protect it, to insulate it. We have a cap of the to shed the terrace. We had this lovely terraces for everyone to come out. And my love things that I love, the stair. I don't know, the section is somehow is not being projected properly. And a beautiful green that comes inside. Invite everybody inside. So this is not a resort, but a corporate office. This is actually a meeting going on. Okay, so these are their engineers and we're discussing certain technical aspect about it. This is actually a meeting our chief architect Oshiki was having with some other vendors there. And there you have. We didn't name it. I mean, I'm very bad at, marketing and making nice Insta posts and things like that. But I have realized that things go viral on their own when you're really good. So I believe it's success is when others post your pictures and not you. And I was recently Googling, I Googled Barja House on the map to send somebody as a location. And ChatGPT said it's the new new lighthouse of color of Kolkata. And it's a biophilic building. We didn't say, it was ChatGPT who was describing the building. Oh, remember the paint we showed? It started flowing already. And stairs, always. Always people go up and down on those stairs. This is a picture I took yesterday from the opposite building. The paints are flowing down. And here we have put a Krishnachura gach. So I am waiting for this to grow this big with color, the green flowing down. Well, 227, we are awaiting this. 1 second, where's the glass? You don't need glass to make it fancy. And these are all terraces. This is a corporate bank, so we didn't show all the trees and plants they would not like, but we'll put it. That's a secret between you and us. Anyway, thank you.